All right. Good morning to those of you on the East Coast. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. Welcome to this exclusive edition of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. I'm your host, Brandon Choi, also co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. And I have a treat for you guys, as we did have a horror release that dropped this past weekend known as the YETI. It's written and directed. Let me bring it up now. Written and directed by Gene Gallerano and William Pashota. The film follows a hand-picked rescue team that endeavors to bring home an oil tycoon and a famous adventurer who mysteriously vanished into the harsh winter of remote northern Alaska. However, unbeknownst to the rescue team, the duo's disappearance is likely attributed to the YETI that reside in the area. Starring Brittany Allen, Eric Nelson, Jim Cummings, Christina Bennett Lind, Link Han with William Sadler and Corbin Burnson. The film is receiving a limited release, not only on April 4th, but also on April 8th, with a digital release set to happen this coming Friday. With that said, we have an awesome guest this morning to chat about his role in the film. Known for his iconic roles in The Shawshank Redemption, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Bill and Ted Face the Music, as well as Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight, just to name a few. It is my pleasure to welcome back to the show Mr. Bill Sadler. Let me bring him on now. Bill, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Brandon. How are you?
I am good.
I'm good. I'm in my kitchen. I have a cat that keeps clawing my leg. I fed you already, Raj. Go away.
And we were also talking about this offline, me and Bill. So I wanted to also give him another alias as well, AKA known as the villain of my very first R-rated film. I wanted to also give him that alias too.
What was that? What was
Die
that,
Hard
Brandon?
2.
Your
Die
very
Hard 2.
first. Don't
Yes.
make me feel old now.
Not at all, sir. So again, excellent to have you on this morning, Bill. Just to get the ball rolling, can you share how you found yourself in YETI territory with this new film?
They sent a script, which is always a good idea. If you young filmmakers out there that are watching, pay attention. Anytime you can send a script and make an offer, and just make an offer and just say, I wrote this with so-and-so in mind, and I think they'd be fabulous. And, here's what I'd like to do. And Gene wrote to me. Well, he wrote to my agent, and my agent sent the script. And I thought it was an interesting role. I've never done a movie about Yetis. I didn't know anything about Yetis until I was up to my neck in Yetis. And the other really on the plus side, it was a fun role. Looked like a good script. I mean, it was a fun story and a good role. And Corbin Burnson was in it, and as the villain, and he's great, by the way. And to top it all off, they're shooting it in Buffalo. And I grew up in Buffalo, and my younger brother Tommy still lives in Buffalo, in Eden, actually, just outside of Buffalo. And he'd never been to a movie set. In all the years I've made movies, all the things I've done in front of cameras, he's never come and watched his brother work.
That's wild. Okay.
So he and his son came, and they stood around on the set all day long, and watched him. And it was just great. Because there's so much mystery going on. If you've never sat through a whole day of filming on a movie, it's it's a real eye opener. You know, that it takes hours and hours and hours to get this 1 3-minute scene,
And
or
so many people, so many different parties.
we're changing the angle, same shot, you know, same scene, same little bit of action, but we have to change the camera angle. So they have to change the lights, they have to change the trees, they have to change the YETI, they have to change, you know. It was really wonderful. It was great that Tommy could check it all out, and I had so much fun showing him around and saying, "It's my brother. Get him a chair, for fuck's sake! Come on."
Nice, nice. So, speaking of the Yeti,
Yep.
one of the things that are great about this film is that it harkens back to a lot of the horror films of decades in the past, where we're dealing with practical effects and not dealing with effects that are computer generated, you know, that are done after the fact. So, you know, with the films that you've done, you know, your impressive filmography. I know I just touched on the tip of the iceberg with some of the ones that you've done, but you've done films that have involved creatures. So some have been practical and some haven't. So can you talk about that, of having that luxury of having the creature there with you on set?
With it, well, it's great. Practical effects like that are great fun, and they're easier in a lot of ways. They're easier for the actors because there's someone there. You know, there's someone there in a Yeti suit, or there's someone there. You know, there's something real. There's something real happening in
Right.
front of you, as opposed to a green screen behind you, and you're watching I'm thinking of like Iron Man 3,
Yeah.
when I was the president in Iron Man 3 and being held hostage. I would have to watch, like you have to watch a tennis ball on a stick, you know, to follow, so that everybody's eyes would go to the same place, like we're all looking at the same thing, but there's nothing there, and you have to pretend. And then I remember hanging. There was a moment when I was hanging like this. The president was about to be roasted or something, and and the director's down on the floor saying, "No, look to the left. Okay, they're shooting at you. Yeah. Okay, bang, bang. Look to little lower, little lower." He's looking at a screen. He's not looking at the actor. He's looking at what the camera is seeing, and trying to decide, when they put in the special effects, when they put in all of the digital, you know, jazz, is it going to line up with what they're capturing on film with me? And
Well, I was gonna say, I imagine it happened also with the Mist too. I'm guessing as well,
it
right?
did
With the spiders.
it did um, it did a bit,
Okay.
but there was still a lot of practical stuff
Yeah.
in
Had a
the
mix.
in the mid. There was one tentacle thing that we did that we had to follow a tennis ball on a stick, so that everybody's watching this thing come around the room. But it's funny because my career really straddles the. I mean, there was an era when it was all practical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything was practical. If you
Yeah.
were going to blow up a plane, you blew up a plane.
Right.
Or a big model of a plane anyway.
Right.
If a guy was going to fall off a roof, you threw somebody off a roof, and they landed on boxes, or on some kind of giant pad.
Right.
Blood hits were, gun hits were squibs under your shirt, and they put leather padding so that, because there's an explosion happening, and you have to keep your hands back like this because your instinct is to grab, and if you grab, it'll blow a hole in your hand. But the world of practical, the first half of my career, everything was practical, and then little by little, they became computerized and digitalized and very impressive. I mean, they got better and better and better at it. So it's astonishing to watch these days, but I don't think it's easier for the actors.
For sure, for sure. And speaking of having the practical effects, of having the creatures there, that also brings to mind how active and how physical the role needs to be. So can you share that component too of having to kind of deal with that component of it as well? Anytime you're dealing with a creature feature, obviously there's going to be moments in which there's a cat and mouse of you getting or trying to avoid the creature. So that involves, just as you're talking about, some physicality. So can you share that component of it, of dealing with that?
Well, they were, many of the younger actors in the show had much more grisly endings with the Yeti and fights with the Yeti. But the Yeti, I mean, it was a guy. It was a really, really big guy.
Yeah.
I mean a really, really big guy who's already, and he's wearing some kind of stilts for feet and fur, and he's like, 9 feet tall or something. And in this enormous, great costume. So, but he's really there. So you look up, I didn't have to fight with him. I don't want to give away the ending of the movie.
Don't give it away. But yeah,
it doesn't end well for my character either. But
don't give it away.
But we don't linger on it. I don't end up getting torn to shreds by the Yetis like some other do too. I didn't realize Yetis were so mean, because they really are. They're just mean, and loud, and they roar, and they really get pissed off if you steal one of their young. Then they're like, oh my goodness. Huh? But you're right. The physicality. I'm sort of at an age when they don't generally ask me to do a great deal of physical stuff. If the character has to do something particularly physical, they just find some young guy who is about my size and coloring.
Gotcha.
And puts my clothes on them, shoots them from the back, and he jumps over the fence. or he takes the punch and goes down hard, and then I lay down on the ground and go, oh man, that was awful.
Well, I figured I'd ask, because hey, you're still active guys, so like, I don't know, like you could do a lot of those stunts. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm younger than yesterday.
I don't know.
I'm still cooking. I'm still, I'm not resting on my laurels.
I'm about to say, I'm trying to give you your props. Like, yeah, you're real active, so.
Those laurels are hard to sit on, by the way. I'm not resting on them in any case. I'm still out there doing this and that. It's thinned out a little bit. I'm not quite, I live out in the woods now with my grandchildren, or across the street, and we have fun doing this and that. We went to the Great Wolf Lodge just last week, and which was, I don't know if you know the Great Wolf Lodges, but they're a water park. They're like this enormous water park.
Oh yeah.
And and the grandkids are 7 and 9, so they're like,
oh yeah, they're going,
they're
man.
in heaven. They're just in heaven. And then there's this wrinkled old guy, in these loose fitting boxer, whatever, swimming trunks, and like, I'll be right with you. But I did it. But I did it. I went in the wave pool and the lazy river and the hot tub and this and that. I had fun. It was great fun. But it was really great fun to watch them just go completely berserk and have fun. It was like, but anyway, I do a fair amount of that stuff these days,
Gotcha.
which is great. But I am still making movies. I made one. I did a day. It was another one that shot in Buffalo, called New England Toy Store. Now, the title may change. I don't know.
Okay.
But it was great. It was great fun. It was one day, you know. It was, but again, it was a day. It was one day in Buffalo, and my brother Tom came to the set again, and it was just fun. So that's the secret. If you want me in your movie, shoot it in Buffalo.
Right, shoot it nearby, so that way you don't have to travel as far.
Don't make me go to some strange place. And, no, I'm absolutely still cooking. I'm still have most of my marbles. You know.
For sure. Well, in speaking about your character, one thing that I did find interesting, that's kind of permeating through that film, is the idea that you have two characters here that are trying to find their way, with your respective characters' kids, with Corn and yourself. And I find it interesting that literally they're chasing after you because they're trying to rescue you, but also figuratively they're chasing after you, and that they're trying to live up to the kind of larger than life personas that your characters have as their fathers. So could you talk about that, of trying to provide a glimpse into that idea that this film seems to tackle?
Well, the Corbin Burnson and I were both. He's plays a world famous oil tycoon,
right
explorer, and he's a billionaire and unstoppable, gets what he wants, goes out, he's just a go-getter. And I'm a famous explorer. I'm a top, climb the first guy to climb this mountain and that mountain and what have you. And so we're both kind of larger than life characters, who've gone off in search of oil.
Yeah.
In the Arctic. We don't find oil. And little by little, our crew gets eaten by Yetis. and the mission changes from searching for oil to my partner decides he wants to bring home a Yeti. Because they make great pets, and he wants to be the first guy that brings a Yeti back alive. And so we disappear. We stop at whatever signal. We miss the boat that was supposed to take us home. Months have gone by and there's no word. Our children are getting more and more worried that something has happened, that we're lost or stranded or something up in the Arctic. So they put together an expedition to come and rescue their two fathers and whatever's left of their father's crew. And they run into the buzzsaw that we've created.
Right.
But in the end, there's some really wonderful sort of reconciliation that happens. It was it was the scene with my daughter when she finally finds her father,
with Alan. So I was gonna say,
But they have like, you know, they have real problems. They have real sort of human problems that get addressed in, you know, in this strange situation. They resolve a certain, you know, a certain big problem in their relationship, gets worked out uh, just in the nick.
well, let me ask you this, Bill. You know,
I don't want to give away the
I
ending
was gonna say
or
I don't want
anything
you to
like
give it
that.
away. Yeah, please don't give it away. But I was gonna say just to dive deeper on
Yeah.
as actors, because Brittany Allen is the actress who
Mm-hmm.
plays your daughter. You've had
She's
an opportunity to
and
play.
and
Go
she's
ahead.
she's brilliant.
Oh
She,
no, I know this because I've seen
she's
her.
really really good. And
She's been in a ton of stuff because I'm a anyone who knows me out there knows that I love Dexter, and she plays Dexter's mom from that series. So um, in talking about, you've had an opportunity to play paternal characters, to play parents, and
mm,
I mean, obviously, you've talked about the uh, relationship that you have as a grandparent, but I'm just saying, just that paternal relationship as uh, from the perspective of an actor, can you share what that looked like in trying to establish that with Brittany, and creating that relationship for this film?
it's with somebody who's as good as talented as as Brittany. It's
Really easy.
and it was pretty easy. I
Yeah.
mean, um, and the writing was believable enough that, you know, the two of us had the words to say to one another that made, you know, that caused the feelies. And but I don't know, you bring yourself to the game, you know, you bring,
Yeah.
as an actor, you're always, or I am anyway, I'm always looking for what is it that I have, what is it that I have that that looks like what the character should have. You know, I've never murdered anybody, but I've played a lot of murder. But I've played murderers,
Yes, you
and
have.
and so you have to find things that, well, all right, I can't. I don't know what it's like to murder somebody, but I know what it's like to be that angry, or that,
Right.
or, you know, that feel that helpless, or that confused, or that lost, or that
Yeah.
whatever it was that pushed them, that humiliated, that, or whatever
That
pushed them
motivates that character.
to do the thing. uh,
Sure.
I can approximate that. I mean, I sort of, so you bring these, and being a parent, I have a daughter, and I don't even think she just turned 40, I think. Um, but you know, she's like the heart of my life. She's like, I've been in love with that girl from diapers on, you know, and it's just it's a really wonderful relationship. We've gone through a lot together, including the loss of my wife and her mom and so on. So I had a lot to work with in terms of um, you know, fatherly. I guess I have a lot of fatherly instincts that were readily available to Brittany. All she had to do was be there and look at me, and with those big eyes, and I was like, okay, I'm I'm sorry I was an asshole. Uh, we, come on, kid. You know,
Gotcha.
we don't
So
we don't
go
have
ahead.
a lot of time left. Let's. What do you say we? You know, this
Gotcha.
this is why I did what I did, kind of thing. Yeah.
Now, you were talking about just moments ago a film that you are in the process of. I guess you said that that is on its way, an upcoming project. So, are there any others that you are able to, share that you have on the way as well, or maybe some music? Because I know you
I
have
have
your instrument there in the back. I can talk today.
I have music. Well, my album is out there,
Right, of course.
and it's called The Kitchen Tapes, and it's available on iTunes. If you go to Call Me Bill Sadler, callmebillsadler.com, I think is the website, and you buy my album, I sign it. It's and the money goes to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So you can enjoy the music. I wrote all the songs. I sing all the songs. I played the guitar. And I have some very talented friends who help me out with piano and, drums and whatever. But the money, the money goes to St. Jude's, and the music goes in your ear, and it's great. It's great fun. And I have a bunch more songs. It's time for me to get back in the studio and make another one. I did a short film.
Okay.
That I think is maybe very good. I've seen it, and it's hard for me to be objective about these things, but it's called The Last Day of Byron Bray. And Byron Bray was a real man. He was a real person. He was Leonard Bernstein's lover years and years and years ago.
Okay.
And now the movie takes place. It's a short film, so it's about 18 minutes long, but it takes place he's 92 years old when it takes place, and he's in hospice, and he's tired, and it's time. It's time for him to check out, and
Gotcha.
And he tries. There's a young actor named Michael Morelli, Borelli, who he wrote it, he directed it, he stars in it with me, opposite me, and he also was Byron Bray's actual friend the last 12 years of Byron's life. He was there that night. This is his story, as well as Byron's. And I was surprised. Every once in a while I'll take on an acting challenge that I'm not sure, I'm really not sure that I'm up to, I'm not sure I can pull it off. And you kind of have to take a leap. That was a leap.
Okay.
To play this 92-year-old gay man, and in such a final, his final page, and but I think we did it. I was surprised. I was very pleased with the way it came out, and I guess it's doing really well at the festivals. I'm not allowed to tell you which festivals yet because they haven't announced them all yet. It's been selected. It's going to the Florida Film Festival. They thought it was pretty yummy, and there's several others that you have to wait for the festival to announce.
Copy that.
But I've heard through the grapevine that it's doing really well. So.
All right,
anyway.
Awesome. Well, Bill, I'm not going to take any more of your time. I really do appreciate you hopping in live this morning. It's always a pleasure to have you on, man. Always love having you on. Before I let you go, can you tell folks where they can find you? I know you were just teasing the music stuff, so if you want to plug that again, feel free.
Call me Bill Sadler. Callmebillsadler.com, I think is the website. if that fails, you can get it on iTunes or wherever you buy your music. You can check it out, and it's fun stuff. They're funny songs and romantic songs, and I've been writing songs since I was a little kid. So, you know, it's not like William Shatner singing Rocket Man. It's different. These are songs that I wrote because I felt like I needed to say something. So,
all right, excellent.
So there you go, Brandon. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I said, there you guys have it. Again, I want to thank Bill Sadler for hopping on, talking about the Yeti. As I mentioned, it had a limited release, so it released on the 4th. So that was Saturday, and it's also dropping on the 8th. But then it will expand out to its digital release on the 10th. So this coming Friday. With that out of the way, I'm your host, Brandon Choi. You can find me at Brandon Choi ENT on X, Brandon Choi _ENT on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be safe out there and see y'all soon. Bye now.
Bye-bye.